bodies laying on the ground because they had him on the ground. And he was, right there beside.
Thanksgiving night. A time for family. For gratitude. For coming together. But in one quiet suburban home, something else was happening. 3 people would never see another sunrise. The man who called 911 sat calmly on his front porch. Waiting. No panic in his voice. No tears. Just cold calculation. And inside, a scene so brutal, investigators would never forget it. This is the story of a man who planned the perfect crime. And the digital evidence that destroyed his lies. November 23, 2017. Chesterfield County, Virginia. 11:34 p.m. Officer Frazier's body camera activates as he arrives at Dogwood Ridge Court. A peaceful neighborhood. Colonial homes with autumn wreaths on every door. The smell of Thanksgiving dinner still lingering in the air. But one house tells a different story. A man sits on the front steps. Hands visible. Calm. Too calm. His name is Christopher Gaddis. 59 years old. Systems analyst. Church member. Husband. Father. And according to what police would soon discover, a killer. He tells the officer he defended himself. From intruders. 3 of them. All inside his home. But the timeline doesn't match. The evidence doesn't fit. And the digital footprint he left behind would unravel everything. Janet Gaddis was 58. A devoted wife of over 3 decades. Active in her church community. Known for her warm smile and generous spirit. Her co-workers described her as the person who remembered everyone's birthday. Who brought homemade cookies to meetings. Who always asked how your family was doing. But her sister knew a different truth. Janet called her crying at least once a month. Scared. Trapped. Believing marriage vows meant enduring the unendurable. Candace was 30. Janet and Christopher's daughter. She worked at Dominion Energy. Professional. Bright. The kind of person who lit up a room. But she discovered something. Something about money. About her grandmother's estate. And she was planning to confront her father. On Thanksgiving. Andrew was 36. Candace's boyfriend. A construction supervisor. Hardworking. Reliable. The kind of man who mentored younger workers. Who believed in building things that lasted. His family said he was uncomfortable visiting the Gaddis home. Christopher made it clear Andrew wasn't good enough. Beneath the family. Not a professional. But Andrew went anyway. To support Candace. To be there for the woman he loved. He had no idea it would cost him his life. The security cameras told a story Christopher never wanted revealed. 6 p.m. that evening. Janet arranging centerpieces. Christopher polishing wine glasses. A Norman Rockwell painting. Perfect. Except it wasn't. 6:15 p.m. Candace and Andrew arrive. Covered dish in hand. Bottle of wine. Smiles for the camera. But by 8:47 p.m., something had changed. Candace steps outside alone. Lights a cigarette. Her body language tense. Defensive. The camera catches her wiping her eyes. She crushes the cigarette after 3 drags. At 9:58 p.m., she texts her cousin. Dad's drinking again. Getting weird. 10:12 p.m. Another text. Mom's trying to keep peace, but I'm done. A neighbor's doorbell camera captures something else. Shouting. Muffled but clear. A female voice. Stop it. Just stop. 10:59 p.m. Candace's final text. Might leave early. Can't do this anymore. But her phone's GPS shows she stayed. Inside the house. Until 11:28 p.m. The exact minute Christopher claims the attack began. 11:32 p.m. The 911 call. Male caller. Calm. Controlled. I just defended myself from intruders. 3 subjects down. But there was another call. 3 minutes earlier. 11:29 p.m. A woman's voice. Frantic. Muffled. One word. Help. Then the line went dead. Officer Frazier enters the home at 11:36 p.m. His body camera captures the scene. Andrew's body in the living room. Janet in the hallway. Candace near the kitchen entrance. A Taurus .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol on the coffee table. Magazine empty. 9 rounds fired. Christopher's story was simple. Intruders attacked. He grabbed his gun from a locked drawer. Defended his family. Defended himself. But forensic analysis would tell a different truth. Andrew had been shot 3 times. Shoulder. Chest. Head. The trajectory showed he was seated when the first bullet hit. Then falling. Then on the ground. The final shot came from above. Execution style. No defensive wounds on his hands. No signs of struggle. Janet took 2 bullets. Abdomen. Chest. Powder burns on her hands showed she raised them defensively. She was fleeing. Running toward the hallway. Shot from behind. She fell forward. Someone turned her body over. Blood transfer on Christopher's shoes confirmed it. Candace was shot 3 times. All in the back. She was found face down near the kitchen. Her phone beneath her. The shooter stood 8 feet behind her. She was trying to escape. Trying to reach the door. She never made it. The crime scene revealed something else. Something chilling. Shell casings scattered in a pattern. Not chaos. Not panic. Methodical positioning. 1 casing landed in a potted plant. 6 feet above ground level. The shooter had been standing on the couch. Firing downward. This wasn't self-defense. It was an ambush. Detective Chen arrived at 12:15 a.m. Experienced. Thorough. 23 years on the force. He'd seen domestic violence cases before. But something about Christopher's story didn't sit right. The timeline was wrong. The evidence didn't match. And Christopher's demeanor was too controlled. Too rehearsed. Officer Frazier briefed Chen on what he'd found. 3 bodies. 1 shooter. 1 story. But the story had holes. Big ones. The first red flag came from the dispatch logs. 2 calls. Different voices. Different tones. Dispatch supervisor Rachel Webb pulled the recordings. Played them side by side. The woman's call at 11:29 p.m. was desperate. Muffled. Terrified. 1 word before the line went dead. Help. Christopher's call 3 minutes later was composed. Clear. Controlled. Like he was reporting a fender bender. Not 3 deaths. The audio quality was different too. The first call had background noise. Movement. Struggle. The second call was silent. Calm. Deliberate. The second red flag was the weapon. Christopher claimed he grabbed it from a locked drawer during the attack. A split-second decision. Survival instinct. But the gun safe's electronic log told a different story. It had been opened at 10:42 p.m. 46 minutes before the supposed home invasion. The safe required a 6-digit code. No signs of forced entry. No panic in the opening sequence. Someone had calmly entered the code. Retrieved the weapon. And waited. The third red flag was Christopher himself. Sitting on the porch. Hands visible. No blood on his hands. No signs of struggle. No weapon visible. He'd already moved it inside. Staged it on the coffee table. Made it look like evidence. Like proof of self-defense. But investigators knew better. A genuine defensive shooting creates chaos. Blood spatter. Shell casings everywhere. Frantic movements. This scene was too organized. Too clean. Too controlled. Detective Chin began assembling his team. Crime scene technicians photographed everything. Blood spatter analysts mapped the trajectories. Digital forensics specialists seized all electronic devices. Phones. Computers. Security cameras. Even the smart home devices. The thermostat. The doorbell camera. The iPad synced to Janet's phone. Everything that could tell a story. Detective Chin began pulling phone records. Security footage. Digital footprints. In modern investigations, technology doesn't lie. Phones ping towers. Cameras record timestamps. Apps track location data. And what he found would shatter Christopher's lies completely. There was only one suspect. Christopher Gaddis. And the evidence against him was overwhelming. His phone revealed a damning search history. 10:45 p.m. Castle Doctrine, Virginia. 10:52 p.m. Self-defense against multiple attackers. 11:08 p.m. How long before police arrive? These searches happened while his family watched football. While Janet served dessert. While Candace posted photos to Instagram. He was researching his defense. Before the crime even occurred. Digital forensic analyst Marcus Webb examined the phone data. Browser history showed methodical research. Christopher had visited legal forums. Read case law. Studied Virginia's self-defense statutes. He was building his alibi. While his family ate pie. Christopher's deleted texts revealed more. 11:21 p.m. 7 minutes before he claims the attack started. A message to his brother in Texas. Having issues here. May need lawyer info you mentioned. His brother responded at 11:24 p.m. Everything okay? Christopher never read it. He was too busy killing his family. The timing was crucial. Christopher sent that text knowing what he was about to do. Already preparing for the legal aftermath. Already lining up his defense. ATM footage placed Christopher at a bank machine at 11:19 p.m. Withdrawing $300. 9 minutes before the supposed home invasion. The camera captured his face. Calm. Focused. No signs of distress or fear. When questioned, he said he'd gotten cash earlier that day. But the receipt in his wallet proved otherwise. Time stamped. Date stamped. Undeniable. Phone tower data created another impossibility. At 11:28 p.m., Christopher's phone pinged a tower. A tower that only covered the master bedroom and bathroom. But physical evidence placed all three victims in the living room and kitchen. Blood spatter. Shell casings. Body positions. All in the main living area. For Christopher to be where he claimed, he'd need to be in two places at once. Technology doesn't allow that. Physics doesn't allow that. The laws of reality don't allow that. The smart thermostat recorded motion patterns. 11:26 p.m. Master bedroom. 11:27 p.m. Hallway. 11:28 p.m. Living room. A path consistent with someone retrieving a weapon. Moving toward targets. Not fleeing from attackers. The thermostat's infrared sensors detected body heat. Movement patterns. Direction of travel. All contradicting Christopher's story. At 10:35 p.m., Christopher had called his insurance company. Asking about life insurance policies on Janet. Specifically about accidental death versus homicide payouts. The insurance representative noted his questions seemed unusual. Focused. Specific. This call happened while Janet was serving dessert. while his family celebrated together. While Candace posted a photo of her mother's pumpkin pie, he was already planning her death, calculating the financial benefit, ensuring the policies would pay out. The most damning evidence came from deleted security footage. Christopher claimed the system malfunctioned that night. A convenient technical failure. But digital forensics revealed selective deletion. Footage from 11:15 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. had been erased. At 11:43 p.m., 12 minutes after police arrived, the deletion required a password. Only Christopher knew it. He'd accessed the system remotely, from his phone, while sitting on the front porch, waiting for officers. But cloud backup recovery restored what he tried to hide. Modern security systems upload to remote servers. Even deleted footage can be recovered. The footage showed Christopher loading his weapon at 11:15 p.m. 9 rounds. Hollow point ammunition, designed for maximum damage. Checking window locks at 11:20 p.m. ensuring no one could escape. Positioning himself strategically at 11:25 p.m. between his family and the exits. This was no surprise attack. It was a carefully planned execution. Gunshot residue analysis added another layer. Christopher had particles on both hands, his shirt, even his face. The pattern indicated he fired from multiple positions. Standing, sitting on the couch, moving through the room. Not the single defensive position he described. Blood spatter analysis revealed the sequence. Andrew was shot first. Spatter on the wall behind him. Low velocity. Contact wounds. Janet's blood was found in the hallway. High velocity spatter, indicating she was moving when shot. Running. Fleeing. Candace's blood was concentrated near the kitchen. Arterial spray on the wall. She'd been alive for several seconds after being shot. Trying to crawl. Trying to escape. DNA evidence under Janet's fingernails told another story. She'd scratched someone. Fought back. The DNA matched Christopher. Not from any mythical intruder. From her own husband. Ballistics confirmed all 9 rounds came from Christopher's registered Taurus .45. No other weapons were present. No signs of forced entry. No footprints from unknown individuals. The forensic evidence painted a complete picture. Premeditation. Execution. Cover-up. Christopher had planned every detail. Except for one thing. He couldn't delete the truth. At 1:15 a.m. on November 24th, Detective Chin made the arrest. Christopher Gaddis was read his Miranda rights. In his living room. Surrounded by Thanksgiving decorations and crime scene tape. His response was cold. "I want my lawyer. You're making a mistake." During transport to the station, something unexpected happened. Christopher began talking. Despite invoking his rights. Officer Fraser's dash camera captured every word. "They pushed me too far. Always wanting money. Always complaining. A man has limits." These spontaneous utterances would prove admissible. Evidence of consciousness of guilt. At 3 a.m., Christopher's attorney arrived. After consultation, Christopher agreed to make a limited statement. What followed was a confession. Recorded in interview room 3. Christopher began with tears. The first emotion he'd shown. "I didn't mean for it to happen like this. Janet was going to leave me. Candace found out about the money. They ganged up on me." He admitted getting the gun early. Just in case things got heated. He confirmed the sequence. Andrew first. Because he was biggest. Janet second. As she ran. Candace last. As she tried to escape. Every detail matched the forensic evidence. The blood spatter. The bullet trajectories. The timing. When asked about his Google searches, Christopher's mask slipped. Completely. I'm not stupid. I knew what it would look like. But they were going to destroy everything I built. Take my house. My money. My reputation. I earned all of it. This wasn't self-defense. It was annihilation. Erasing anyone who threatened his control. His image. His carefully constructed life. July 16, 2018. Chesterfield County Circuit Court. Judge Patricia Williams presiding. Christopher Gaddis chose not to go to trial. He accepted a plea agreement. 3 counts of first-degree murder. The courtroom was packed. Janet's church congregation on one side. Candace's co-workers on the other. Andrew's construction crew standing in the back. Silent. Grieving. Judge Williams reviewed the evidence before sentencing. Her words were measured. Precise. This was not a moment of passion or fear. This was calculated elimination of family members who threatened your control. 3 consecutive life sentences. Without possibility of parole. Effectively 300 years. Christopher's final statement shocked even hardened observers. I accept responsibility. But they share blame for pushing me. Janet's sister walked out. Unable to hear more. Judge Williams added one final observation. Mr. Gaddis, you still don't comprehend the monstrosity of your actions. Christopher showed no reaction. No remorse. No understanding of what he'd taken from the world.